Thank you, Rabbi. That was no exaggeration in terms of time that I spent in your office. One of the greatest things that, sometimes when you're in Flatbush, you spend a lot of time doing things that are making people crazy, as I did. And I remember one time I was by Rabbi Levy, and I think they were deciding if they should send me to jail or not. I forgot what the last thing I was doing. And Rabbi Levy said to me, it's going to be fine. I said, and whatever the professor, I don't know if they're here, whichever teacher it was, Hashem should bless all the teachers, was arguing for my incarceration. And Rabbi Levy's like, I got it, I heard it. He's like, I heard you, I got you. And he left the room, and I'm like, okay, like state penitentiary, right? I'm like, what if, yeah. So he says to me, I'm not going to send you anywhere. In 2-3 years from now, you're going to be back in my office, and we're going to learn some Torah together. And I said, sure, Rabbi, whatever it's going to take me not to get detention, yeah, that's what you think? It's cool. He goes, you'll be in my office in 2 years, and the two of us are going to learn a little Torah together. I said, sure. 2 years later, I had stopped by the office. I had brought with me 2 Gemarot Makot, and I sat down in his office, and the two of us for about 8 minutes before other people started walking, and we learned a little Torah. So, Rabbi, I thank you for saving me from prison. I thank you for believing in me, and especially for the teachers that I see up, or I see, or I probably see so many other teachers up here that had such an impact on me growing up, even though I probably didn't show so when I was here. I really appreciate it. So we're in this amazing period of time right now. And it's a time that I remember sitting in right there. I mean, this is what I did. I remember sitting where you're sitting. And I remember when I was growing up, and when I was in Flatbush especially, there was few things that I loved more than ball. Like, that was my life. Varsity, Flatbush varsity. I don't know, does Mike Gelber still coach? No? Does he? Yeah, he does. Irv's not here anymore, though. No, okay. This is everything we did. Does he still have sacking? You still have sacking, right? No sacking? I'm out of here. Thank you. You've been great, by the way. You're awesome. This was everything we talked about. Sacking, ball, varsity, beating MTA, beating Mag and Davey, beating Hafter. Everything we did was ball. There were girls too, but that's not for this speech. That's a different story. And I remember, when you love ball, there is one month that stands above the rest. What month is that? March. Because March is the month where the NCAA has its tournament. And something magical happens. It's somewhere mid-March where the tournament starts, and there's games every day, all night. You leave school, you go here, you never leave school, you stay in school the whole time. And you go here, and then you come home, and it's 10 o'clock at night, and you have like 4 hours of ball, and Gonzaga's playing in Florida. It's amazing. Even now, I don't really watch anymore, even now, when March turns on, if I'm looking at my computer, and February to March, I'm like, all right, it's March. I don't know, it's just going to be an awesome month. This must be madness. As a Jew, we are entering into a period of time right now that from a Jew's perspective, it's March. And if there's one day that we like least throughout the year, what day is that? Yom Kippur. Right? If March is the best, where does like Tishrei or Elul fall on the list of 1 to 12 of favorite months? 10, 11, or 12. And this is the holiest day of the year. And we have this piece inside us that says, I shouldn't be doing it. This just feels like it's wrong. Like, I'm walking into a day, and all these rabbis are thinking that it's so important. I know God is here, and like, I'm a Jew, and like, I know that, and I'm proud to be a Jew, but like, I don't want to be here. What's the best night of the year? What's Yom Kippur? Do you know why? Because it's the longest part in the calendar for the next Kippur. We're like, yes, it's over. I can have my bagel. I'm going to think about this for a year. Best day ever. We're all thinking it. God is here. I mean, the creator of the universe is coming to his kids. One day a year. It wasn't because we don't eat. We're okay not eating. Before a big game, we don't eat. Before a big test, we don't eat. We're not worried about the food. I know we're Jews, we love food, but we don't love it that much. What is it that as we walk into Kippur, we have this conflicting feeling? I should be more excited. I feel, especially we get it if we're paying attention by Ne'ilah. There's a moment where we feel like, there's something inside me that's more. I feel, I don't like being, what is it that even though we feel like we should want to be here, we don't? So when I was when I left Flatbush, I went to a place in Israel, which I highly recommend everybody doing. And one rabbi told me something that literally, in this one concept, changed my whole life. And it took me a few years till a friend of mine, I saw it like an example in a friend of mine. And I want to share with you one idea. And I believe in my heart that if this one idea we can all see together, it'll shift your entire perspective. What's going to happen this weekend, Yom Kippur, and how you see yourself as a Jew. So I want to tell you a story. I want to tell you a story about my favorite friend, my coolest friend. I've got one friend who's like the coolest guy ever. We met in Colombia. This guy is like off the charts. He's like, he grew up in the Midwest. And for law school, instead of going to like an American law school, he decided he was going to go to a Chinese law school. Didn't speak Chinese, but he figured he'd learn it. Like, I'm still working on English if you couldn't tell. And he has like Chinese down. So he goes to China, becomes the first American ever to get a law degree in Chinese. When Bill Clinton, the previous president, came to China, his speech, he didn't give him a shout out. His entire speech in front of China, the subject of the speech was this guy, to show U.S.-Chinese relations. Goes to China, becomes the first American to ever get a law degree in Chinese, becomes like a kung fu master, comes back to America, goes to Yale, then he goes to Harvard, then he's like losing a little steam, he ends up in Columbia, Nebuch. And then all of a sudden, he's like, okay, fine, I'm in Columbia. And then like, he's kicking it, and then like he's one of these guys that's like totally eclectic. He had a gun, he had a motorcycle, like he's like James Bond with a brain. That's this guy. Awesome guy. So it was the first week of school, it was October time. And October Shabbat is like 6, 7 o'clock? I had a 2 o'clock class. I'm sitting in the computer room at like 9 in the morning. He goes, you ever heard of the concept called bageling? Anyone knows what bageling is? Bageling is when someone who doesn't look as religious goes to someone who looks more religious and tries to show them that they know about Judaism too. Like you stop at you like, when someone says like Shabbat Shalom, oh really? Oh, Shabbat. They want to show you that they know about Judaism. I love bageling for 2 reasons. I love Jews, I love Judaism. It's awesome. So I'm sitting in class, I'm on the computer, the guy he comes up to me, I know he was Jewish. He goes, hi. I'm like, hi. He goes, so, you go to class today? It was Friday at 2. I'm like, yeah. He goes, no, because it's Friday, and I know that Friday has sundown. I'm like, I think there's sundown every day. I wasn't so sure. So he goes, no, because of Shabbat. I'm like, oh, you're bageling me. Oh, sure, yeah. Shabbat, yeah. I'm like, you want to come for Shabbat? He's like, nah, I'm like, no, seriously, you want? He's like, okay. He comes for Shabbat. We have the best time. We become close friends. This guy goes to law school. Gets involved with the FIDF. The FIDF is the Friends for Israeli Defense Forces. They raise money to give rec centers and things for elite soldiers. Goes to Israel, schmoozing with a couple of these soldiers, comes back to America. At this point, he graduates working for maybe the #1 law firm in the country. And they call him up. They go, listen, we were going to give you a gift in Israel, and you left too early. We want to fly you back to Israel and give you a gift there. He goes, just send it to me. What do you need to fly back to Israel? I'm like, listen, we want to give it to you properly. You came, you donated this rec center. Could we fly you with that to Israel? He's like, can you fly me to Israel for free? Yes. So he gets on a plane, he goes to Israel. He tells me the story. He gets picked up in like an unmarked car. He's sitting around, and as he's driving from Tel Aviv to Yerushalayim, he's like, I don't even know these guys. But they're probably fine. If anyone's been to Yerushalayim, you know that when there's a road, the main road goes to Yerushalayim. Before you get to Yerushalayim, there's a huge sign that says, Bruchim Habayim, in like, it's like a manicured lawn. As the car turns, he tells me, there was like a dirt road. The car makes an immediate right and starts going on the dirt road. And he's like, oh, okay, this is how Al-Qaeda videos start. All right, this is a dumb move. Just picking up and going to some random guys in Israel, and I'll say bye to my parents, I guess, on screen as I say Al-Ahmad or whatever. The car's going, it's bumping, and he's like, I'm gonna die. And it bumps to the end of the road, and at the end of the road is a small little cafe. And at that cafe, he gets out, and there's like 3 Israelis sitting around this little cafe, I don't know, like eating like hummus and olives or something, speaking like 1,000,000 miles an hour, like, Yoni, so he gets out, and they're like, he's like, I don't know what you're saying. Like, slow it down. And he sits down, and there's like 4 guys around him. And they start telling him that they heard from one of their commanders when he was giving this rec center, they were schmoozing with him. He said, I heard that you're from China, that you were from China? And he goes, no, I spent 7 years there. They're like, you speak Chinese? He says, fluently. He said, really, speak English? He goes, fluently. They said, well, we have a proposition for you. He said, what? He goes, we are in the Mossad, and we are opening up a division for Israeli-Chinese relations. And now we've never met a guy that speaks Chinese fluently and English fluently. You're blonde, you're blue eyes, like you're like the perfect, you love Israel, you came, you gave all this money to us. You're like the perfect candidate to join the intelligence desk of China. Will you accept the offer? He comes back to America. He's like, what should I do? I'm like, what should you do? Like, this is how like spy movies start. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna be like a lawyer. Like, I'm worried about like contracts now. And the Mossad says, come join the Mossad. He's like, you're right. He walks up to his boss. He's like, I quit. I'm like, oh, good luck. Like, I think joining the army is like watching 2 army movies and like running on a treadmill. You know what I'm saying? Like, apparently, like it's a real army. So he goes to Israel. I don't hear from him for 5 years. 5 years later, he comes back. We end up going out to dinner for like 4 hours. I'm like, tell me everything. So he tells me a story. It was phenomenal. But I want today, we can talk this forever. I want to talk about the last piece of his story. So here's what he tells me. He gets there. And apparently the army is not just a couple of army movies and running on the treadmill. Like, you're really working all day, all night, early morning. They're killing him. And he's ready to quit. And every time he's about to quit, someone like says, come on, keep on going. He's there 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and every time, the way it works is, to get to the place of the Mossad he had to get to, he had to go through all these different like channels. You had to get to this officer level, and this officer level, you did this thing on your bench. You had to go through all these steps till finally you were considered an officer enough to then go into the Mossad. And he's working 2, 3, 4 years, he's getting in there. Finally he's in his last year, and he's in his last course. He's in the officer course. And you have to pass the officer course to be able to get to that level. And he's passing it, he's doing great, and he's up to the last test of the last course. And the last test is you have to read coordinates. Like, the way it works with hostages, apparently, is it's not like you can like get like an address that you just plug into like the GPS. It's not like you show up, you like make a left on this street and like a left on the Ahmed street, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, he's down. If you want to grab a shawarma, it's a cheap one on the corner here, and the hostage is down there. Just not going to ask for Muhammad. He'll take you downstairs. Not really how it works. Like, they just give you coordinates, and they're like, go find the guy. Like, you know, you gotta like know, like, based on like coordinates. So that's what they teach them. Like, you have to, you're gonna put you in a desert. I'm gonna tell you the hostage is here. You gotta figure out where here is and get there within 5 minutes. You get that hostage in 5 minutes, you pass. He's like, okay. Smart guy, hungry guy, knows his stuff, not worried. 5 a.m., wake up. Commander comes in, he goes, you ready? Wakes him up. Gets his Jeep, gets his paper, looks at his team. He's got his team around, and he goes, this is where it is. We're taking 4 guys, everyone over here. We can go left on the plank, we can come around here. Everyone good, everyone got it. They're like, yes. They load the Jeep up and they go. So looking at his watch, he's sitting in the shotgun seat. He's got the guy driving, and he's going. He's got 5 minutes left. They make the right turn with 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left, 4 minutes left, 2 minutes left. Everything's fine. He actually sees the thing from the distance. He's looking at his watch. He's got plenty of time. He's going to coast to victory. 1 minute left, 50 seconds left, 40 seconds left. All of a sudden he hears, pop! He spins around. It was the back right tire blew out. He's like, oh my God. He's like, fix the tire. He's like, 30 seconds. He's like, you didn't check the tire. They're like, sir, we checked the tires. He's like, I told you to spin the tires. He's like, get out. He's screaming at his guys. They're jumping out, trying to get tires. Like, you guys are incompetent. I can't believe this. 10 seconds later, you know what? Forget you guys. He jumps out of the thing by himself. He starts running as fast as he can to the house. He's 10 seconds late. He's 20. He pulls up to the house, huffing and puffing. He's a minute late, and he goes to the door to open the door, and it's locked. There's a sign underneath that says, you failed. And he's like, oh my God. Oh my God. He just puts his head down. He just walks himself back to that Jeep. There, at that point, they fix the tire. He doesn't sit, he puts his hands like, don't worry. Sits in the front seat, and not one word, the Jeep goes back to base. And he walks himself back to his room. He's like, I just can't believe this is how I'm going out. And the commander comes in and goes, listen, this stuff happens. Relax. We watched it. It was a tire blowout. We're not going to penalize you for a thing. Relax. Tomorrow morning, 5 a.m., you get another chance, shake it off, toughen up, you'll be fine. He goes, okay. Goes to bed, wakes up the next morning, 5 a.m., new coordinates. He goes, I know where this is. You got to go here, but we can't get here. I've seen this before. This is the sand dune. You got to park the car here. We're going to go around the sand dune as a team, and then 3 guys are going to stop, and I'm going to go in. Everyone in? Let's do it. Man, you check the tires, we check the tires. You got your gear, we got your gear. You ready? Let's go. Get in the Jeep and they go. 5 minutes, they're fine. 4 minutes, they're fine. 3 minutes, they're fine. 2 minutes, they're fine. 2 minute and a half, the Jeep parks exactly where it's supposed to park. The 4 guys get out, they check their gear. They start running on sand dune, but they got to run really low. They can't be seen by the people around. And they're running around the sand dune. And as they're about to turn the sand dune, he hears, ow, 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 ow. He's like, what? And he's like, I think I broke my ankle. They're like, you didn't break your ankle. He's like, I did. As I turned around, he's like, pick him up, carry him. And they pick out the stretcher. He's like, carry him on your back. And he's like hobbling. He's like, I'm going to be late again. Are you crazy? And he's like, I'm trying. And he's running. He's like, really? You guys are, forget you guys. And he gets up by himself the second. He's like, can't believe this in 2 days in a row. And he's running. And he's 10 seconds late. And he's 20. And he gets there a minute late again.
The door's locked. He failed. Now he's not sad. Now he is angry. He comes back to that Jeep. He walks back to his barracks. He told me he was breathing fire. He ripped the whole place to shreds. He turns to God and goes, "Really, God? I'm not trying to help you." He goes, "You know, it's not you. You know who it is? It's the Israelis. They're trying to fail me. I know it. I'm not one of them. This is a set. Oh, I know these people. You know what they're doing? They saw an American kid. They let me go through. There's probably some Israelis a little threatened by me. You hate America? Well, this is what this is. They're setting me up to fail. Really, this just happened? This is, he is steaming. And his commander comes in and goes, "Listen, this never happened in the history of the Israeli army. We've never had someone take this test and two things just pop out of their way. We know it's not you, but we're superstitious a little bit, and we're having a huge meeting of all the commanders of this base to find out if you get another chance, you're just going to fail." He's like, "Whatever." Comes back after 2 hours and goes, "Listen, I used every chip that I had in my bag. Every one. We're giving you one more chance. You play baseball? You American?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "3 strikes, right?" He's like, "Yeah, that's how he works." He's like, "Tomorrow's your last strike." He says, "Tomorrow, you have one more chance. If you don't hit that door in time, I don't care if God himself showed up. I don't care if you get hit by lightning. If you don't hit that door on time, tomorrow, you hitchhike to a cab stand, you take a cab to Ben Gurion, and in Ben Gurion, on the next El Al flight will be a ticket for you. You go home." It's fine. The guy leaves. He closed the door. He told me that was it. He just so mad. He said, "They're setting him up. They're setting him up." And he lays down in bed and he looks up into the ceiling and he's like, 5 years. 5 years. To get set up at the end like this? And he looks back and he's like, "Wow. Last night in Israel, I can't," and he starts to reminisce. He's like, "I can't believe it's been 5 years. When I got off the plane, the car went off the road, they were going to kill me, and the guys in the olives and the hummus and the yoni, blah, 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 blah." He said, "And then I joined the army, and I had this, and then I had that." And I remember that first night like it was yesterday, and he goes, wait a second. That first night, there were 4 guys around the table. 3 of them I knew the whole way through. 1 of them I hadn't seen that. What happened to that guy? I remember he said something that night. It got me so pumped to join the Israeli army. I forgot what it was. What did he say? I remember he said it, and I'm like, yes, this is my place. That's right. He said that what it means to be an Israeli soldier is that no matter what, you never leave your men in the field. Our soldiers think about their men first. And no matter what, if you're in crisis, you turn back to your men. I was like, wow, brotherhood. Man, what happened to that guy? He goes, oh my God, I saw him again. Remember, when I passed my 2nd level, and they said congratulations to everybody, to me they said my name. And I said, how do you know my name? And in the corner was that guy. It's like, wait a second. When we donated the rec center, the guys were in this unit. They were complaining about getting sabotaged on a test. It's like, wait a second. Yeah, I went to a class with this guy. It was 3 years ago. It was in the middle of the night. He spoke about when you're in the intelligence, you're going to be in a situation where everything's going to look good and it's all going to go bad. That's what happens when you're in enemy territory. If you're a leader in the Israeli army, you've got to make sure when things go bad, you take care of your men first. He goes, wait a second. They're not trying to fail me. They're trying to pass me. I'm taking the wrong test. The test isn't getting to the door in time. The test is what happens when you're about to hit the door and everything goes bad. Do you leave your men or do you take care of your men? I'm taking the wrong test. These guys want me to pass. He said he got that at 2 a.m. He got up, he put on his uniform, and he waited by the door. 5 o'clock in the morning, the commander's like, whoa, good morning. He's like, good morning. He's like, you ready? He goes, oh yeah. New coordinates, like, whatever. I know where this is. He goes, you need 2 Jeeps. He's like, you got it, whatever you give me. 2 Jeeps. Everyone checked the tires. Yes. Everyone has the equipment. Mm-hmm. And they're going. 5 minutes, it's cool. 4 minutes, they're cool. He knows exactly where to go. One Jeep's going to the right, one Jeep's going to the left. They're meeting to the middle, and then they stop right there. And the house is right in between both places, which is why they needed 2 Jeeps. And then 4 minutes left, they're fine. Checking the thing, everyone's okay. Everyone's okay on both sides. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. 3 minutes, everyone's fine. Checking, everyone's fine. 2 minutes, everyone's fine. 1 minute, and as 1 minute comes, he can feel himself getting tense. Something's going to happen. He knows it. And all of a sudden, with 40 seconds left, he hears there's been a problem, there's shooting at the Jeep, shooting at the Jeep, and he can feel himself getting frustrated. And as soon as he feels himself getting frustrated, he pushes it right back down, and he goes, I got it, totally. He goes, spin the car around, I'm going to watch the back, I'm going to protect against this side. He goes, he covers this plank and that plank, he secures this location, that location. He brings these guys on the Jeep, he makes sure they're safe, he makes sure that he puts them in this location, and makes sure this location is safe. He takes 2 guys in within 2 minutes. He covers everybody, protects everybody, keeps everybody safe, picks the only men that he needs, and sends the rest of the men back to the base. And with 2 guys, they go on foot, and now he's 1 minute late, and he's 2 minutes late, and he doesn't care. He's 2.5 minutes late, he's 3 minutes late, and he knows that he did the right thing. He got it, he thinks he got it. And as he's about to hit the door, 3 minutes late, his line says, it's going to be locked, it's over. But he's like, I don't care. And as his hand touches the door, it's open. The door opens up, and his commander's in an empty room sitting in a chair. Now, if he was in America, he'd be like, congratulations! Balloons! Here's a teddy bear for your grandma. There's 2 graduations, 3 graduations. Let me give you a whole gown that you can wear. Here's a diploma. And there's 40 things we're doing. They're Israeli. He's like, fine, go do something important, do something. You know why we don't like this period of time? There's one reason. Because at least that's how I felt when I was sitting in that chair not too long ago. Because we walk into this religion, you know how we feel? That God's not trying to pass us. We're not important. You know who's supposed to go on during this period of time? The big rabbis, the holy people, the chachamim that I wait for 2 hours, and they say, bracha v'hatzlacha, we go, thank you. And they're holy and they're wonderful. We should love our rabbis. And they spend their lives getting into Hashem. But we believe in our core. You think God's trying to pass me? You think me, really, you think I am relevant to God at all? Ever? You think the creator of humanity cares if I show up or not? No. Here's what I know. If I don't show up there the next weekend and say whatever words he wants, he's going to give me a bad year or something. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to walk in, say whatever you need me to say, God. You're giving out goodies, and if I don't want to mess up with you a little bit, okay? So it's one day, I'll suffer through it. I'll say the words, I'll do the motions, I'll nod as much as I'll nod, and hope and pray that I can somehow get away from your judgment. Right? Either you're Benoni or Russia. You ever hear this? Benoni, Russia. Like a D or F, D or F, D or F. Like, oh, thank God I survived being a robot for a day. God doesn't care about me. You think I'm going to change the world? You know who I am? You know how do you believe, really? I'm sitting here, I am so bored of Judaism. Do you think God, the creator of humanity, cares? You think he's trying to pass me? He doesn't care about me. He cares about his boys. He cares about his team. A regular guy from America who cares more about sports and girls and life and bed. Really? I promise you one thing. The creator of the world doesn't care about me. He's not trying to pass me. We live our lives with this stuff. You know what happens when you're born and you're Jewish and you live here? Here's what happens. There's a moment in your life that you miss. The most important part of Judaism we miss. I'll never forget when I was in Flatbush, 9th grade, I didn't make the beds with him. Worst day of my life. You know why? Because I don't know if they still do it, but downstairs, right in front of the lunchroom, right opposite from the lounge, they posted whoever made the team. I came down that morning, I remember it like it was yesterday, and I had a decent tryout. I was like, okay. I prayed like a million. Everyone's religious right before a game. You know what I'm saying? On the foul line, we make a million deals with God. You know what I'm saying? Like, I promise if I hit the shot, I'm going to succeed, like 100% succeed, and I'll pray all day, and I'll fast for the rest of my life, and I got to hit these shots. It's Maggie David, for God's sake. Like, do me a favor, God. You know what I'm saying? So, like, right before tryouts, I was like the most religious guy in the history of religion. And I was like praying extra stuff, picking my Torahs from the cloth, whatever it is. I walk into that list, and I'm like, oh, okay, then it's okay. Maybe it's spelled Harary with a Z, I don't know, okay. Maybe it's spelled Harary with a Ch, I don't know, maybe they're Israeli. Maybe it's Harary. Oh, no, maybe there's a mistake, it could have been a mistake. No, that's probably a mistake, they probably forgot to put me on. 10th grade, walked downstairs, I was like, okay, here goes. Harary Charles. I'm like, you want to take a picture of me? All day I'm by the sign. They're like, going to the class. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to go to class today. I should just touch the sign a couple more times. Because that's my name. Just in case you didn't realize. I know there's a couple Hararies here because it's a popular Syrian name, but there's only one Charles. Yeah, that's me. Yeah. Okay, I'm on. And then when I wore the jacket for the time, I walked around. I was like, hi. They're like, you're scaring me. It's 100 degrees. I'm like, yeah, actually, I wear this thing just in case it gets cold later. And I don't know if this will happen. I need leather everywhere on my sleeves. Do you know why? Because there's a feeling that we all want in life. I don't care how tough we are or not. Each and every one of us want to feel one thing. Picked. Chosen. You know what the most important part of our history is? We missed it. No matter what you believe about Judaism, the core of our religion believes, and the whole world, I'm not one of these guys that says, like, Goyim are bad. The whole world is wonderful. But if you're a Jew, you have to believe it, you're missing it. That your soul has something that is unique to the world. B'ni b'chorei Yisrael. God says, my people are my kids. And I can promise you that when there was a family in Brooklyn about to give birth to a girl or a boy, and God looked at 6 billion souls and said, who's going to be part of my people? I promise you, 6 billion hands went up. God's like, I got one baby to send. It's taking place in Brooklyn tomorrow. They're about to give birth, Who's going to be the soul? Who's going to be the soul? God's like, no, you're wonderful. No, in the back. Yeah, come here. You're like, me? Yeah, you're a soul. I want you not only to be Jewish. In 2002, I want you to make sure that when you're Jewish, you don't got to worry. You know how many Jews that I meet they're sitting around their whole lives, they're trying to be a little more Jewish, and the world's killing them, and sitting in public schools, they walk 2 miles to go to shul, they're trying to eat like some kind of kosher. I know high school students whose parents, when they have one bit of Judaism, their parents walk them to a diner and force them to eat pork. I want this soul, God says, no, not just bring the soul in. I want the soul to have like an education. They're not even going to realize that they're going to be in school for 12 years. They're going to be even like upset that they're learning about Torah. But it doesn't matter. I don't care. I want them to have it so badly. There's something about this soul. This soul. Yeah, this is the 4th quarter of Jewish history. 4th quarter is a big game. I need my players in the 4th quarter. This soul, bring them down. Yeah. Each and every one of us feel like God doesn't love us. Like we're nobodies. Who cares what I say? He's not paying attention. And we carry this lack of confidence with us. There's nothing in Judaism. You think it matters? We don't remember. We're picked. He's not trying to fail us. His whole army is around us. The entire world, ha'olam nivra b'shvili, the whole world is surrounding your life. You may be just taking the wrong test. The test isn't how much stuff we can get. Who we can be along the way. This period of time, you have one thought. It's not how much we believe in God. It's how much God believes in us. You know, last week I was in ESPN headquarters in Bristol, Connecticut. Anyone ever hear of Mike Greenberg? Mike and Mike? So I interviewed him last week. I spent the day. It was awesome in ESPN. Played basketball on the court, hung out with the guys, sat on the Sports Center set. It was amazing. And I sat with Greeny, his name is. And I said, how did you become Greeny? And for those who don't know, Greeny is probably the top 5 sports talk radio hosts in the country today. You're a regular guy. Here's what he told me. And I wrote this on my website. Anyone goes to the website, I blogged it yesterday. He said, when I grew up, I had a feeling like I was more. It wasn't enough. I needed to become more. Every opportunity was more. They were building me. They were pushing me. They believed in me. And if someone believes in you, what else couldn't I do? I just pushed and I worked and I figured it out. And that's where I am today.